Very interesting shoe for you tonight, but however, I think at this point maybe we'll be playing some dirge music, some kind of funeral music.
Dirge music.
Even though we're talking to people in the future, we had to take last week
You mean
off.
like the music like they have in Mardi Gras?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, Juan-Juan.
Which is coming up, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Ash Wednesday, whenever that is. Let me introduce the posse as it is constructed at the moment. In the studio with us tonight, the very famous Juan-Juan is here.
Hello, Mac. How's it going?
Okay. You are in, 30 days of mourning for the Patriots?
At least.
Embarrassing
I was
themselves?
almost in therapy. It's good that I'm in mourning rather than therapy.
Therapy, yes, it's cheaper.
Oh, man.
Mourning is.
I couldn't do anything today.
That was an embarrassment. I'm sorry. It was.
Yeah.
I know that you took it hard. I think, hanging the dead eagle from the station's tower with two in the hat, as they say. I think it was a little extreme. But
I had one of the musket men fire at
him and hit him really good.
That's right.
Twice.
Blew its brains out.
Okay, and, bald eagles, I know they're an endangered species, but there's plenty of them around. Don't worry. Okay, it's healthy to vent. But, it was just a lot of people were bummed out. I was at a real kind of drunken, angry party, and
at somebody's house or
at someone's house, yeah.
Okay.
And with a lot of your countrymen, one half of your
Italians?
Yes.
Oh,
yep,
good,
okay.
the best.
Yeah, they're the best.
They know how to party.
If you win, they're the best. Okay,
They party best at funerals, but
Right.
Super Bowls are even better.
Well, this was kind of like a funeral, frankly, and
that's true.
A lot of meatballs being thrown around.
Oh, I bet.
I'm talking about the food. So anyway, it's over. It's now been a couple of weeks as people are hearing this. Kind of sad. I think it was really overhyped. I think they made a lot of mistakes in the game. They had no defense. There's this whole controversy about Malcolm Butler, and it's always this kind of drama. I was just wishing that they were going to just come out, score like 4 touchdowns in the first quarter, and then, have it be one of those games.
Yep. I saw that was interesting today? I went grocery shopping. Now, what's interesting about that? Nothing.
Go ahead.
But there was a shopping cart full of today's and yesterday's newspapers.
Okay, yeah.
The front page is saying Dynasty's dead or the end of an era or something. I mean, really an interesting picture, but a really sad headline.
Right.
And they're all stacked up, meaning they're going to go get returned to the...
Right, yeah, sure. Yep.
Whereas the last year...
Everyone just bought everything.
Just bought them up.
I got them hidden in my closet somewhere. Yeah. Well, I don't know. You can't win them all, I guess. And then, of course, the fans down in Philly, fulfilled their...
what were they burning? They burnt a Macy's or something?
Yeah, who knows?
You saw some shots. I wasn't really paying a lot of attention on the internet on some of that activity, but...
Well, they have a reputation for being, angry fans, even when they win. I mean, they actually threw snowballs at Santa Claus once in a football game, and booed him. They actually, Philly, they boo Santa Claus.
Well, at least they didn't throw batteries like they would at Yankee Stadium.
Right. But everyone knew this is what they were going to do, and apparently they greased a lot of the poles downtown. So people, but they, burned cars, looted places, and you
don't
win.
get it.
What if they lost? I don't understand it either.
Well, it was weird on TV. They were showing Kenmore Square was all fenced off with those portable fences.
Oh, yeah,
police
right.
just kind of milling around. There wasn't a soul to be found.
Kenmore Square,
And there wasn't anybody.
Yeah, because the Patriots, they're from Foxborough, and they're out in Minnesota. Why did people think they're going to go to Kenmore Square? Because it's next to Fenway Park?
No, well, that's a gathering place.
Right,
well,
okay. For troublemakers.
They weren't looking for Gronk to be, jumping around or something. But
wow. Yeah.
Speaking of Gronk.
Yes.
What the heck happened?
You mean, well, I think he's been told on one, Gronk front, I think that maybe people have told him you've had enough concussions, you might want to retire, because he's hinted that he's going to retire.
Yeah, his presser was really weird because he was saying that, well, we're going to see how it goes. I'm going to take a couple of weeks to think about things and
that's
talk to my teammates
good.
And
but then
assess my situation.
The rumors that his house was burglarized, and now apparently he has housemates. And
he's got a couple of roommates,
and
housemates they call them. A couple of things stolen. He initially said that a couple of safes and some guns might have been stolen, but he checked out it didn't even look like his room.
Mm-hmm. Safe says in condoms, or safe says
his safe says
where you put money in
safes where his rings are.
Okay. Oh wow.
I'm assuming. Okay.
Wow.
They hadn't been breached at all.
Bummer.
So that's the latest.
He's having a bad week. He's going to have to go out and party a little
Unbelievable. Bit. Maybe he needs a woman or something.
I don't think that's the problem. I think that he's
What's his deal?
He and Malcolm Butler should go out together on Night on the Town. Meet two nice girls.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's the end of the Patriots thing. Okay, I mean, till next year.
I am so
right. It's sad that you're not wearing really your Patriots regalia.
And Amazon delivered this cool poster that I saw online.
Oh boy!
It wasn't the typical Tom Brady, throwing a football poster number 12.
Yeah. TB12.
Or him, It was a laid back.
Oh,
one of those
laid back Tom?
Cheesecake posters.
Cheesecake posters.
That's what they call it.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and I wanted to bring it in
and put it up there.
And put it up on the wall, and we can have our pictures taken
and
in front
put
of
the
us.
mood lighting down.
That's right.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe I'll draw I heart with an arrow.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Or something like that.
Wow.
But I still love him and everything.
I can tell you're putting
I'm going to have to wait.
You're putting up a brave little front there, soldier. You really
have to wait till September, I guess.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
When does practice start?
August 14th, actually.
Okay, good.
Well, hey, what are you going to do? The strange thing is, and it's funny that we're talking about sports, especially Boston sports, but at this moment, the Bruins have lost exactly 3 games since Thanksgiving.
It's amazing.
Okay. And the Celtics have the second best record in the NBA. Okay.
Right.
No one cares. It is unbelievable. And the truck day was the day after the Super Bowl loss, so that means spring training is going to start, No one's talking about truck day. Remember when truck day used to happen?
That was a big deal. That was a big
truck
event.
Day, we should explain. That's
like the Patriots send-off.
Yeah, the equipment truck leaves Fenway Park very early in February and makes the week-and-a-half trek down to Florida where they open spring training. A lot of people consider that's the opening of baseball in Boston.
Right.
As soon as that first tire moves, baseball season is on. They used to have crowd control for the crowd. Now there was like 2 or 3 people. They were signing the truck. No big deal. Wally didn't even make it. He had other things to do.
Talk about it. Wally was on a bender and he didn't make
it. Maybe he was with Malcolm Butler and the 2 professional
hanging
girls
out with Justin Timberlake
in the Hyatt with weed. Apparently,
I don't get Justin Timberlake.
Who does? No one does.
I took a shower during the halftime.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly,
it was very strange because it almost looked like it was pre-filmed or something. It did not look live. And then someone told me today who knows about how they put the Super Bowl together, the halftime show. You know how when they're performing, there's like thousands of kids, jumping up down, kind of faking like they're into it.
Mostly women in the front.
Right, yeah. Usually those are like producers' kids and stuff like that. Yeah. But for the Super Bowl, they bring those people in, for halftime.
Yep.
And they do their jumping around, and then they got to leave. They don't have 5,000 seats for these kids to sit at the suits. Yeah. So they come and go. They don't even see the game. They're hired to
just to see the halftime show.
Yep. It was vanilla because I think they didn't want any controversy. Last year, Beyonce, or as my father-in-law used to call it, Bounce, did like a Black Panther tribute unexpectedly. So who needs that really?
Yeah.
And
the hologram of Prince.
Hologram. Everyone thought that there would be a Prince appearance because it was in Minnesota and so on. So. Hey, I don't know, Philly, who cares, right? So we have an interesting show for tonight. We're going to be talking to Ross Sharp about the most haunted village in maybe all of the entire planet, but certainly in the United Kingdom, a place called Westminster. Has more UFO sightings than like any other place around the world.
No kidding.
And the strange thing is it's right down the street from Stonehenge. Okay.
See, that's the key, Stonehenge. That's like isn't that like the energy vortex or something?
Sure. Yeah.
That's why they arranged this. Whoever arranged those stones, nobody really knows.
Oh, how they did it.
They had this big crane, and they
must have
steeplejacks, And
they said that it would be very hard just like it'd be very hard to build a pyramid today, it'd be very hard to really build Stonehenge today.
I don't think if they resurrected the Egyptians, I don't think they could have built that.
No.
They couldn't move that stuff around.
Something very strange about that. That there's been a team of aeronautical engineers for the past 2 or 3 years trying to rebuild the Kitty Hawk, the first plane of the Wright brothers, and they can't do it. They have the plans, but they can't do it. That's strange.
It won't get off the ground. Huh?
Yeah. I mean, really.
It's amazing.
You think that, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can talk to Ross Sharp, our buddy there from the UK.
They probably couldn't even reinvent the telephone with what
No. Yeah, you never know.
Alexander Graham Bell had to work with.
I think it's strange that you can't.
Think of the light bulb.
Right.
Reinvent the light bulb and go through all that.
Yeah, no, really.
Well, you worked for a major electrical company, right?
Thomas Edison. Yep. Started GE up in Schenectady.
Wow.
Yeah, worked with him for 5 years, and really my biggest accomplishment was I learned how to spell Schenectady.
That's a tough
very
one.
Hard
to
do. Anyway, so we'll be talking to Ross Sharp, and then we're also going to be talking to our good buddy psychic Bill Stillman is going to be calling in. He's got a new book, and he's last time he was on, he was telling us how just recently a lot of people that he kind of communes with, mind to mind, have been talking to him about alien abductions. He says, just all of a sudden he's getting these kind of alien abduction reports from his clients.
His contacts.
Yeah, so that's kind of strange. We're also going to be talking to Emily M. is going to be giving us a classic UFO report. Switchblade Steve Ward, who, by the way, has been asked to give yet another speech.
That guy is everywhere.
He's the man on the way up, and he's going to tell us, I guess, what it's like to be a celebrity. Cobra's going to be joining us later on. He's on a secret mission, so it's either saving the planet for some, from some asteroid or something, or one of his goats, has a problem. He has to, who knows?
He's got goats, I know.
He's got goats. And, yeah, that's what they sound like, exactly. And
they're
also,
fun, though. I had goats.
We're going to, really? Yeah?
Yeah, we did. When we first moved up into the boonies, we had a couple of Nubian goats.
Did you eat them eventually?
No, they were pets.
Oh, okay. All right.
Their horns were removed, too, down some little stubs. So
really?
Before we got them, that's what happened. Because they're always butting against each other, hurting each other. If they're.
Did you keep them penned up, or did they run around the house?
We let them run. We let them run around outside, but we did have a pen and a location in the barn for them to jump over.
Oh, really?
Every time I put them in a stall that were formerly set for horses,
yes,
they would jump over them. So
really,
they can really leap. So I had to make the stall door a lot higher.
So just pets. So you didn't milk them or anything?
Nope. Okay. Nope, just pets. You know what they're good for is when you put the Christmas tree out for the trash man.
Yes.
Just leave it in your driveway. They'll eat it down to the stump.
Eat the pine needles?
Yeah, they did. They ate every branch.
Yikes.
I didn't expect that. I stuck it in a snowbank. And the next it was gone.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. If I ever get a goat, I'll remember that. I get them right around Christmas time. Sounds like the best time of year. So anyway, why don't we do this? Oh, we're going to be maybe taking some calls from the audience tonight, too. We're seeing if we can work out a couple of technical details. If so, we will do it. So why don't we take a commercial break now, and we'll be back and start the really big show. So you're listening to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everyone, to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. Very big show for you tonight. Let me introduce the posse. Every time we do a segment, another one walks in. The very famous Juan-Juan is here.
Hello, Mac.
And listen,
having fun yet?
I know that you're a fashion maven.
That's right.
Okay. I want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
Close your eyes. And hang on. Tell me what you think of this hat. But keep your eyes closed. Okay.
Closed.
It is radio. Okay. Open them.
Cool. Just like
really? Yeah.
Look, it came in right off the dock.
That's all I need to know. Close your eyes.
Yeah,
again.
I like it.
Did you say right off the dock?
Yeah. What'd you get that one? I like that look.
All right. Okay. This will make sense in later shows, okay? Also joining us tonight, famous author Marc Zappulla is here.
What's up, Mac? Thanks for having me again.
Yeah.
How's everything? How you boys doing?
What'd you think of the hat?
I thought it was quite sexy, actually.
Oh, I thought he was going to say stunning, but sexy,
stunning, yeah. All the above, yeah.
My housemate isn't thrilled about it. That's why I'm asking. Okay. So, we're going to have an interesting show tonight. Cobra will be joining us later on. Also, Ross Sharp is on tonight's show. Our good buddy Bill Stillman, the psychic, is on. Emily M. and also Switcherino. So, big show. Okay, but now we're going to try this. We were able just recently to take calls from the audience. I think it has something to do with the 7-second delay or something. Yeah. All right, so we're going to give
For us, they made us 14 seconds.
Yeah, right, yeah. I thought it was a minute 44. Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to try it again. Take a call there from the audience. So I have to touch this button. Hang on. This is where we keep getting screwed up. Hang on. All right, so. Okay, all right. Hello, caller. This is Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show. You there, caller?
Yes.
Hey, we got somebody.
Okay. How you doing? Who is it? Uh-oh, go ahead.
It's a child.
Yes. Is this Juan-Juan?
Yes. It's me.
Right. You know who it is, right?
Yes, we do.
It's the black-eyed kid.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Surprise.
Yeah.
I found you again.
Okay.
Well, at least you're not knocking on my door this time.
Not yet.
Not this time.
But you're always welcome, since I know you now.
Black Eyed Kid calling
Thank you.
in.
Yep.
I just have a comment. I was watching Juan-Juan watch the game.
Okay, you're watching Juan-Juan watch the Super Bowl. Okay, yep.
You're watching me crying?
Yeah.
Looking in the window. Go ahead.
Yeah. He was wearing his jersey, his TB12 jersey.
That's right.
It was tidy whitey.
Tiny whities, yeah. Okay,
We've got X-ray vision.
sounds believable so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
X-rated version.
Yeah. X-rated vision.
I just want to know how Juan-Juan feels. If he feels like a total loser, rooting for the Patriots.
Oh, that's not nice.
You know what? I feel jilted at the altar of extending the dynasty and the altar of the sixth Super Bowl ring and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
You know, Tom Brady just was made the awarded the MVP of the league, and I wanted him to be the MVP of the game. You know, the future was bright.
I just interject something.
Yeah. What?
The bit didn't call for you pouring your heart out to the black-eyed kid, okay?
He just asked me if I felt stupid.
No,
It's okay.
Yeah.
I have a degree.
I was saddened
I can listen
and
to Emmett.
depressed.
I can listen.
Oh, you can listen. He has a degree in psychology.
Yeah.
Kid's working his way through. Okay. Okay.
I should have called you up because I needed somebody's couch or somebody's shoulder to cry on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Should have given
Pants
you
on.
It
a
was
call.
really sad. It was
Pants
sad
on
to
first.
see you in the fetal position at the end.
Little kid doing material.
I was a mess. I know.
Okay.
He
I'm
wasn't.
sorry.
He was in my room.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he saw it all.
Yep.
The-
What was my wife wearing?
Wait, hold on.
I
Okay.
can't say.
Can't say. All right. Thank you. Is that it, Black-Eyed Kid, for Juan-Juan? You want to call him anything else? I mean,
No. I just want to know if he's going to turn his TB12 book into kindling.
Heck,
you're going to burn the book?
no. I kept looking at it and caressing it and everything. I'm going, don't worry. He's gonna be back next year. Vegas already picked them to win the Super Bowl next year.
Oh, good. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I don't know what the line is, but
Okay. Well, listen, Black-Eyed.
Juan-Juan.
Yeah.
could be a repeat.
Caressing you.
I'll see you later anyway. You won't know it, though. It's okay.
Yeah. Where will you see him? Why don't you do your brand now?
I like to switch it up. Maybe him get Liz's car today.
What was that? Can you translate that?
What?
Say that again. Black-Eyed Kid.
Yeah, I'm just going to see him get in his car later.
Oh.
Get in the car.
Oh.
Yeah, make sure he's safe.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Maybe
Look
I'll
in the
have a
back
total
seat.
stranger turn the key first before I get in.
Thank you, Thank you, Black-Eyed Kid. That went 4.5 minutes longer than we thought it was. So your bumped up check is in the mail. Okay, kid.
Hey, if you join me for the ride home, we'll stop at McDonald's, okay? Because
Happy meal.
I think that's right. I think that's your standard fare, right?
No, eating people is his standard fare. He's a cannibal.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing,
He's
right.
converting.
Okay. Thank you, Black-Eyed Kid. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. See you later.
All right.
Okay, Juan-Juan, boy, you're pouring your heart out to everybody.
Even the black-eyed kid. That's right. I mean, anybody I see at the store, walking on the street,
Really?
the Dunkin'
Yeah.
Donuts guy, yeah.
Geez. Okay. It is sadder than we thought, folks. I'll tell you what. Why don't we take a break so you can compose yourself? Okay. And you're listening to Mack Maloney's Mill Truck Style Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everyone, to Mack Maloney's Mill Truck Style Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. We have a very interesting show for you tonight. Already it's interesting, but let me introduce the members of the posse. The very famous Juan-Juan is here.
Hello, Mac. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well. He is in mourning about the Patriots, but we'll explain that in a minute.
A little verklempt.
Very famous author Marc Zappulla is here.
Hello, Mac. It's great to be here again.
Author of The Last Longshoreman, a pre-Whitey Bulger crime story on the Boston docks. Doing very well.
Doing great, yeah.
Having another signing soon. Still talking to Hollywood?
I absolutely am.
All right, okay.
man,
Now, remember one thing about those people out in Hollywood. Number one, they'll have your best interest at heart, okay? They're not going to do anything that's going to upset you or cost you any money, okay? So keep that in your mind, okay?
That's the feeling I've been getting.
They want
Have you
only
getting
you
that
to
feeling?
succeed.
Yeah, I've been getting that.
Yep. And when they say you're talented and they love the book, they mean it. They're not kidding you.
They said I don't even need an attorney.
Really? Yeah. Wow. See how good they
That's
are?
a good sign.
Yeah.
Also on the phone with us is calling from his undisclosed location. They come Coco on the street. It's Commander Cobra.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Okay, and so we're going to flash back to a show we did 2 weeks ago, Juan-Juan, okay?
I'm going to turn back the clock, rewind the tape.
Wish we had some of that music, that always...
I like the tape sound effect.
This Friday, from the visionary director of Ex Machina.
It's expanding.
Destroying everything.
It's not destroying, it's making something new.
Critics are calling Annihilation a thrilling, remarkable vision.
Mutations. They're everywhere.
Brilliant and provocative, it will be hailed as a masterpiece.
I took my blood last night. It's in me.
Natalie Portman.
This is how extinction begins.
Annihilation. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent.
Rewinding tape.
Maybe we'll do that.
With the head actually making contact with the tape. You have to have that sound.
Exactly.
Which doesn't happen unless you're editing and rocking the reels.
Right, yeah.
When you hit rewind, that tape head is like about half an inch away from the
tape. Okay. Yeah, a little TMI, but that's okay. We'll do a whole...
I don't know where that came from, but...
Yeah. I do. That's the problem. I know exactly where it came from, frankly. But anyway, so 2 weeks ago, as you know, we had a friend of ours call in from a planet 44 light years away to predict the Super Bowl. Our plan was to put a press release out on it, but as it turns out, Associated Press and PR Newswire wouldn't print the release. Once again, another story.
What morons.
Okay?
It's discrimination against ETs.
Well, it is, but it was also they wanted a description of the show, and I think they got upset when I said that one of the people who's on the show a lot is someone who talks to people who have passed on, and that they're constantly trying to get racetrack tips from Jimmy Hoffa. Okay. That might have set them off a little bit.
Again, all sporting news, I don't understand this kind of prejudice. I just don't.
So I'll tell you what, why don't we go back and see what our friend Teraak from 44 light years away actually, how he predicted the game, how he thought it was going to turn out, and what the score is, okay? So I wish we had some of that music. Could you do the music? Can you make that sound? Can you make the tape?
I can't.
Yeah, Mark, you?
Probably if I knew what it was.
Okay, all right. You weren't at rehearsal,
think
so
X-Files.
I don't expect you. Yeah,
For all those in the listening audience, think of X-Files, the opening to X-Files.
Actually, we shouldn't do that because we've been getting letters from Fox, as it turns out. We're not supposed to be using that music. Once again, another show.
Ever.
So why don't we go back and we'll see what happened a couple of weeks ago, okay? Hang on. Okay, hey, you're listening to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. The very famous Juan-Juan is here.
Hey, Mac.
And also Cobra is on the phone with us. But he's
Good evening, gentlemen.
He's not the only person who's calling in. A good friend from 44 light years away, alien buddy Teraak, is calling us because he's crazy about football. And the Super Bowl is coming up this weekend. And we wanted to get his thoughts on it and see if he could predict the score for us. So let's greet him first now. Hello, Teraak. Hang on a second now. How you doing? Okay. Yeah. You have to hit your translator button there, please. Okay. See if that works. All right, Teraak, can you hear me now? Hello.
Yes, thanks. I'm glad I hit the translator. Teraak.
Now I can recognize his voice.
How you doing there tonight, T-Man? Okay.
T-Man, I like that. I'm actually fabulous.
Okay, super good.
Are you related to Liberace, Teraak? I'm telling you, every time you get on with us, I see a grand piano, a candelabra, and you just going at it.
Yeah.
Going at it?
I'm candelabraing right now.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah, except I don't have a piano.
What kind of organ do you have?
Well, wait a second. Now, come on.
A hanging one.
Oh, that isn't right either. All right. Okay.
That's an Earth joke.
Yeah, that's right. The alien doing material too. That's the kind of show it's turned into. So listen, we know you love the NFL, Teraak, right?
Yeah.
You love football, right? And we have the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
We have a Super Bowl coming up here this weekend. It's the New England Patriots, of which we are part of the nation, playing the Philadelphia Eagles, or as a lot of people call them, the Filthy Fleagles. Ever hear that?
Yeah.
A lot of people say that the Eagles don't have a shot against the Patriots because the Patriots, they never do anything wrong. They never do anything wrong. You know, Tom Brady, he's not only the best passer, but he knows how to catch a pass.
That's right.
If he has to.
He's the greatest of all time.
Everybody is, on board. They really are kumbaya. Yeah. So can you tell us, well, first of all, what do you think of the Patriots this season they had, Teraak?
I think the season went great, but I really, in knowing ahead of time, I'm calling you from like 400 years ago, so I know these results.
Really? Okay.
I'm glad I got you. I just want you to know I know the Patriots had a great season, but the Philadelphia Eagles, the Patriots can't beat them.
What? Come on. Teraak.
This is blasphemy.
Yeah.
Are you saying fly like an eagle?
Yes, apparently
like
you
the
has.
song,
Okay.
American song.
Okay, all right. So are you saying that the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
I know it.
That's a good thing you're 44 light years away, because you probably wouldn't make it walking around in this part of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
All right, so you're picking Philly. I mean, why Philly? What, do you like their coach?
Well, Doug Peterson, let's just say, when it comes to football, he is like the Obi-Wan of the NFL. He controls the force.
Yeah. 10 years ago, he was coaching high
A little
school.
like a hobo.
You stepped on the aliens line there, Juan-Juan. Did you say had something about the way he dresses?
Yes. Sometimes he dresses like a hobo.
Wow, Doug Peterson, hobo. Hobo Peterson, good name for a band. We got to remember that. Okay. Okay. So what about the quarterback of the Filthies? What do you think about him?
Who's Saint Nick?
Saint
Nick.
Nick. I guess that's what his friends call him. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So what's your prediction
Let's
on
just
Nick?
say,
the backup quarterback.
let's just say Nick Foles has a physique that is out of this world or any other world.
Oh wow. Okay. Interesting. Okay.
He is going to totally blow your mind in the future after this win.
I can't believe that, but if you're calling it from 44 light years away, you probably know more than us. Is Nick Foles married?
Oh my gosh!
Yes, he is.
Nick Foles is married.
Yeah, got a kid too.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm sorry. Yes, his wife is the most beautiful creature in the galaxy. She is also absolutely fabulous.
Wow. Okay.
More fabulous than Tom Brady's wife?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Tough one. Yeah. Okay.
I've contemplated this for a century, and she does have a long neck and big eyes and would fit right in our planet. But
Because the people
the
there
other
have
one is
long necks.
absolutely fantastic.
What about Tom Brady's sister-in-law? I hear a lot of nice things
Yeah, I
about
was
her.
going to say, yeah. Is she better than Giselle's sister? Ever seen Giselle's sister there, Teraak?
Not on the record.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, that sounds intriguing.
Yeah, I know. Really.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
that's
talking
what
about.
I do.
Like on a sublight year kind of viewing. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, kind of like a viewing.
Oh wow. Okay. So
Yeah,
like
she
people.
Was she aware that
really,
she was
like-
being viewed, or is this one of your alien tricks?
She
Like an
was
ET
not aware,
peep
but
show,
since I am not beholden to Earth law, I can just admit it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. You're peeping in, looking in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
E.T. Peep Show. That should be another band.
There you
Mac,
go.
write that one down.
Yeah. Okay.
Peeping Teraak.
All right. Okay. The alien seems to be getting a little. Anyway. Little huffy. The alien's getting a little huffy.
Yep.
You detect that?
Creep show Teraak.
So listen, do
Yes.
you want to predict the score there, Teraak?
I will predict the score.
Okay.
The score. I will predict the score, and I know the score, so it's not a prediction; it's an
I see.
absolute.
Okay. Go ahead.
The Philadelphia Eagles are going to beat New England Patriots 41-33. It'll be close,
No.
but
No.
they will not. The Patriots will not win. I am sorry.
Well, that's not what we want to hear, and we're going to have you on in a couple weeks to tell you how wrong.
Yeah.
You
I
are.
would
Are we
love
going to
to
place
be
a bet
proven
here
wrong.
with Teraak?
Ixnay on the bed day. Okay. Anyway, so
I
This is
do
for
not familiar with
entertainment
pig Latin.
purposes.
So thank you, Teraak, for calling in 44 light years away. And as I said, we'll have you on in a couple of weeks after we get through partying for the Patriots win, 6 Super Bowl win, 1 for the other thumb, and we can tell you how wrong you are, okay?
Let's see. I hope you prove me wrong.
I
Okay.
hope you're wrong.
All right. I know he's wrong. Thank you. And how dare you talk about Tom Brady like that in front of Juan-Juan? You know how sensitive
He's
he
just
is.
trying to get me.
He's trying to get you to go.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to cut to the core of Juan-Juan.
Oh, boy. Okay, you got a long journey there, my friend. See, the translator button is malfunctioned, so we have to go. Thank you, Teraak, for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay, my brother?
Thank you. Yes,
Okay.
you will.
Okay. See you later.
Bye.
Wow, what's the matter with that guy? You know, an alien, you think he'd know more
He
than
doesn't know Jack.
to pick, yeah, he doesn't know Jack is right. You know, Jack lives in Philly, right? Correct?
That's right.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we all calm down from laughing at Teraak's prediction and take a commercial break? And so we'll be right back after this. You're listening to Mack Maloney's Military Exile Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. We'll be right back. Mack Maloney's Military Exile Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. Boy, are we in the middle of an interesting show. But first and foremost, I must introduce the posse. In the studio with us tonight, girls, I think third week in a row.
Yep.
Except last week he was really in mourning for the Patriots. The very famous Juan-Juan is here.
Yeah. How's it going, Mac?
Okay, you tell me. People are asking you off air if you're okay.
Doing okay.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah.
Took my meds. I'm fine.
Took the meds? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Get any meds left for the rest of us? No? Okay, thank you. Also on the line,
The prescription.
I'm sure they are. Those are the good ones,
Yeah.
right? Coco. They call him Coco on the street. Man, a Cobra up there in the Great White North. Not being racist, folks. We're talking
It's
about
just the way it is.
in his compound. Commander Cobra.
And the compound as well. Good evening, gentlemen.
Okay. In the studio with us, joining us tonight, a surprise celebrity pop-in. Very famous author Marc Zappulla is here.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, Mark.
Author of The Last Longshoreman, Whitey Bulger crime story on the tough Boston docks. How about that?
Mac, I didn't get a chance to ask you, do we have enough money in the casual fund to pay for the arrival tonight of Mark?
Wow. Wow, huh? No, he was a pop-in. He was a
Yeah, did he gets scale, right? I mean,
It's in the contract.
troublemaker. Listen, you don't want one of those goats to have an unfortunate accident, do you? No.
let's not go there.
On the phone with us right now, hopefully he can help us out. He's a psychic. He might be able to tell us what the future holds for us in the next 48
Especially
hours.
the Patriots fans.
A good buddy out there in Pennsylvania, William Stillman. Bill, how you doing there tonight, brother?
Hi, fellas. It's great to be back with you. Thanks for having me, Mac.
Okay. You know, you're joining us in a very, troubled show, I'd say, but
I gather that, yes.
we talked about that off air, and we're trying our best to get over it, but, we'll see. Frankly, I'm over it. I'm
That's
over it.
amazing. I'm not over it, but I'm getting through it.
Yeah, okay.
hasn't even
I'm
hit me
trudging
yet.
through the morass of.
I told you, I won a square, and that kind of soothes
See,
me.
that's good. Yeah.
So, Bill, what's new with you? You're in Pennsylvania. Are you a Eagles fan?
Well, as I've told you before, I'm virtually sports illiterate, but I did feel obligated to root for the Eagles, and I did watch the game, and I guess I'm in the minority tonight.
Were you out? So you didn't go out and burn cars and overturn, burn up Macy's and stuff
What
like
was
that?
up with that?
Celebrating? Okay.
Well, they really know how to party.
Nothing like that.
Okay, it's the first championship in so many years, and they knew they so knew trouble was coming because we were talking earlier. They once booed Santa Claus at a Philly fans. They booed Santa Claus at a football game or a baseball game or something, and they knew the Cubs knew in advance there was going to be trouble, so they greased all the poles downtown so people wouldn't climb up the poles. They knew something like this was coming, but then
They still did, and kids were jumping off the poles.
Yeah.
And,
the Philly fans found something else to do. Something else to burn, overturn.
but it's their first
cash.
championship since what? The Phillies in I forget what year.
Oh, wait, yeah.
08, was it? Yeah.
Imagine if they lost.
There'd be nothing left.
Wasteland.
The city of brotherly shove, right? But it's the first time the Eagles ever won, right?
Yeah.
Wow, man. Well, I'd like to say good for you, but I don't like any people them there. They're really jerks.
I didn't really have
No
a
offense.
negative opinion towards either the Philly fans. I heard all about it, but I couldn't find anything. It wasn't like our hatred for the Yankees. I just didn't have
It's another show.
an emotion against Philly fans or Philly radio. I was listening to WYP for a while.
Well,
on
now
my
you
phone.
do. Now you have a good.
I
excuse to
don't.
hate
It's
them.
not. It's
They beat you on one. They beat
No.
TB12.
the Patriots let themselves be beaten,
Oh. Well,
and then they embarrassed
people are into
all
that,
their fans on the way.
They did embarrass a
That's
lot.
right. They embarrassed me,
They embarrassed
And
me until they won the square.
and
Anyway, let's get back to Bill. Okay, we've been talking about football.
All right, sorry, Bill.
You can see the state
It's
we're in?
insanity. Help us.
We can't stop talking about it, Bill. We cannot stop.
It's a stupid game.
Can you tell us?
Oh, my.
Stupid game.
Well, I do want to tell you, fellas, that I have a new book that came out recently.
Okay, good. Is it about the
And
Patriots?
the title of the book, is "The Secret Language of Spirit: Understanding Spirit Communication in Our Everyday Lives." And it's a book that I really wrote as a primer for the layperson to give them a heads up about some of the signs and symbols and signals that may be manifesting around us that the average person might brush off as coincidence or maybe too distracted to even notice.
Right.
And I'm pleased with it. I think it's one of the better things that I've ever written.
That's great. And we should tell people that what you do. Well, why don't you explain to people what you do as far as the spirit world and psychic ability?
Well, this is my 14th year of doing this professionally. And I only started when I was 40 years old, so I was a late bloomer.
Wow.
But I had a long history of very strange, unusual experiences, and some of it not very nice, particularly when I was younger.
Yes.
And sorry, Mac, I suppressed all of that, and then when I was in my late 30s, I decided that I wanted to reclaim that sensitivity that I had as a child, and reclaim it I did. And as soon as I made that commitment, everything just shot through the roof, and I made up for decades in about 3 months.
Okay.
And that's when I began doing the work professionally, and I love what I do. And I was actually inspired to write this book after having gone to the movies.
Oh.
And I saw a film called Arrival, and
great movie.
Maybe you saw it? Great. Yeah, I enjoyed it very much. But, for people who haven't seen it, it's basically about a college professor who's a linguist, and she specializes in decoding obscure languages. And she's tapped by the U.S. Army to help to decipher extraterrestrial communication that is coming through in a way that's very cryptic and very iconic. And I thought it was fascinating and very well done, and I highly recommend it. But as I'm sitting there watching it, I'm thinking to myself, wow, I do something very similar to that. I'm a linguist also, in that my job is to take a foreign language and translate that and put it into words for people who are not yet as fluent as I am.
Right.
And it is a language that is very cryptic and iconic and symbolic. So it takes some finessing to get the hang of.
So those words, where do they come to you from?
Well, I am very fortunate in that they come to me through a number of ways. So when I am turned on and tuned in, Spirit is playing off of my personal physiology, my senses, my emotions, and my memories by sending me mental pictures, movies, words, phrases, names. They may make me feel something physically. They may make me smell, hear, or taste something. And in all the years I've been doing this, I have learned you don't hold back on anything. No matter how strange or far out it looks to you, you've got to say what you see.
Right.
And it's something that I find personally fascinating. It's never dull, and it's very intriguing. So I wanted to put the best of what I know into this book for people who are also curious and fascinated, as I am.
How long did it take you to write the book?
The book came together very, very quickly. In fact, I think we were talking about it last time. It happened over the summer. It virtually wrote itself in, I think, less than a month.
Wow.
And within a couple of weeks, I had sold it, and I was very surprised the publisher said we want to put it on our fall schedule.
Wow, nice. So it happened very quickly.
It's only been out a couple of months.
Okay. Yeah, it's I mean, when it happens quick, sometimes that's a very good sign. You know what I mean? If it just kind of flowed out instead of laboring over something. Mark, how long did it take you?
It came
Mark,
through a spirit.
How long did it take you to write the? Sorry, Juan-Juan.
Sorry.
How long did it take you to write the last?
It was about a year and a half. I took a couple months off just to regain my sanity.
Wasn't it a pain in the ass? I mean, seriously, wasn't it just
huge.
like writing the longest term paper ever in your life?
It was awful. It was incredibly painstaking. I don't recommend anyone doing it.
I know. It really is. And a lot of people say, come on, what are you doing? You're sitting around, you're typing. It's just a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you agree there, Bill? Isn't a pain?
No, I don't agree with that.
Now, Bill,
can I hire you to
you
write
and I
the
are
book?
probably the most illiterate people when it comes to the game of football.
This Friday, from the visionary director of Ex Machina,
It's expanding.
destroying everything.
It's not destroying, it's making something new.
Critics are calling Annihilation a thrilling, remarkable vision.
Mutations. They're everywhere.
Brilliant and provocative, it will be hailed as a masterpiece.
I took my blood last night. It's in me.
Natalie Portman,
This is how extinction begins.
Annihilation, rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent.
It sounds like you scored a touchdown.
Oh,
man.
wait a minute. Come on. Cobra doing material on us.
Well, listen, I have a story to tell you if you have time.
Okay, sure. I just wanted to ask, in Arrival, and I recommend it too. It's a very adult science fiction movie, okay? And it's one of those movies you should probably go back and see it twice to kind of get the whole
every nuance.
idea,
Yep.
And the woman who plays the college professor, what's her name? She's in a lot of that short redhead. She's in Superman all the time.
Amy Adams.
Amy Adams,
Yeah, Amy Adams.
And I can tell you something, when she's on the screen, they say, you can't take your eyes off of someone. That's when you know that's a real movie star. She's it. You can't take your eyes off her. She's really hot.
Yeah, she is.
Anyway, and a good actress. So please, Bill, tell us the story.
Yeah, so one of the chapters in the book is about the significance of threes and things that manifest in threes. And one of the things that I have learned in doing the work that I do is, and it's really interesting, when I have an event planned in which I'll be standing in front of an audience, usually about 24 to 48 hours in advance of the event, someone will start working on me. And so one of the things that I try to do, believe it or not, prior to an event is I try to get to an antique store or an antique mall and walk around just to see if my attention gets distracted to anything in particular, because I'll tuck that away for future reference. So the day before this event that I was planning on going to, and this ties in with the concept of threes, that morning I was surfing the internet and a picture popped up of Lindsay Wagner as the Bionic Woman. You fellas remember her.
Oh, we do.
In that role from 40-some years ago now.
Right.
And I thought, well, that reminded me of younger days also, and I thought that was interesting. And then so when I go to this antique mall, I'm walking around, and my attention gets drawn to a display case, and in the bottom of the display case, mint in the original box, is Lindsay Wagner as Jamie Summers, the Bionic Woman.
Wow.
Doll.
A doll. Oh, man. Did you buy it?
Doll from 40-some years ago.
Sure.
Mint in the original box, and that kind of stuck with me, and then it reminded me that I had seen her picture earlier that morning. So the following morning, I'm getting ready for the event, and again, I'm kind of surfing the internet, and the same darn picture that I had seen the day before is on another site, a different site. Now, stuff connected to the Bionic Woman, that's nothing contemporary or recent.
Right,
that's,
yes.
decades ago.
It does seem like things
I
happen
thought-
in threes a lot. It just seems that way.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
I thought, is somebody trying to get me to say the name Lindsay or something connected to the Bionic Woman? And then I was also being shown mentally little pink ribbon, which is, obviously breast cancer.
Okay.
So I thought, okay, because they do this for me every time, that's how I know where to start the show. So I step out in front of the audience, and I say, I tell them the story I just told you. I say, so this is where I need to start. I say, I don't know if somebody's trying to get me to say Lindsay or the name Wagner, or there's something connected to Bionic Woman. But there's a breast cancer connection here also. Nobody claimed it. And finally, this gal raises her hand and she says, "Do you think it could be the name of the character that Lindsay Wagner played?" And I said, "Well, I'll go with that." She said, "Well, my sister's name was Jamie. She passed with breast cancer, and The Bionic Woman was her favorite show."
Wow. What happens to you?
So once,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
Sorry, Matt. So once she made that connection and validated that I had the right person, it was like a dam broke loose. And her sister came through so loud and so clear and was talking about her 3 children. She wasn't concerned about her boys. Her daughter was drop dead gorgeous, but she was very concerned that she was being pressured to be thin by her peers. And she also said, "I tell my ex-husband I love him. Tell him I forgive him for having had an affair." And it was just amazing.
Good for her. So what happened, Bill, when something like that happens to you? Now, first you had seeing the 3s, and then have someone in the audience who had some really kind of, it almost was like someone was trying to tell you to talk to this person. How do you feel? How do you feel inside when something like that happens? I'd be not creeped out, but I'd be kind of spooked out.
No, you know what? In all this time, not once has it been creepy or spooky or frightening at all. In fact, when that happens, it feels exhilarating and joyful, because I know it's not my imagination. Somebody's got my back, and they are actively engaged in a collaborative process with me. And I love every moment of it.
Wow. Well, you live an interesting life there, my friend.
Bill, can I ask you a question?
It's never dull.
Bill, let me ask you a question. Being in the communications with the spirit realm, like some people would say, even I would say it, you don't have any, you seem to be very upbeat. You always had positive experiences, and you're very enthusiastic about what you do and what you've experienced. Never, ever did it cross your mind that you might get hooked up with somebody that's not acceptable.
I was waiting for that.
That's absolutely happened.
Okay, go ahead. Please tell us.
How do you deal with it?
That's absolutely happened. Well, you can. There's a few videos of me on YouTube of me actually channeling people that are not very pleasant. There's a distinction to be made here. I aspire to be as pure and clear and clean a channel as possible, and it's not just a mindset, it's a whole lifestyle. So, I don't drink or smoke, I don't cheat or lie or swear, but that doesn't mean that your loved ones in spirit didn't swear. And so sometimes they will come through and, they have very salty language, and it's very embarrassing for me to do that, but I will allow for it within fair reason, because it's one of the ways that they will demonstrate their personality to their loved ones.
Right.
So if someone has transitioned to the heavenly realm and they got to where they are supposed to be successfully, they will never, ever curse in anger or in a way that is cynical or sarcastic or degrading. That's not the way we operate in the heavenly realm. So I know that if for some reason I'm picking up on somebody that is cursing and they're using it in a way that's really angry and really nasty, then I'm dealing with a ghost. Somebody who's stuck, and they're stuck because they were a miserable person when they were living, and they're still miserable, and they're probably very fearful of letting go.
Okay, Bill.
So that has absolutely happened, and many, many times.
So you don't think it's any kind of a satanic influence? One of Satan's minions affecting this person?
Well, not affecting me personally, because a part of that lifestyle is I devote periods of time to prayer and meditation at intervals throughout every day, and especially before I go into an event. I spend almost an hour in prayer and meditation, so I feel very, very well protected. I bless the theater in which I'm working. and I say a blessing with the audience before we do anything.
Fantastic.
So nothing is going to affect me.
Right.
Okay.
But no, I had run-ins with all of that nasty stuff when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. Let me just
Been
tell
there,
you,
done that.
we should probably let you know that we are in our new studio. We've only been here not even 2 months, and there's a ghost in the studio. We're the only people in this radio station, WXEX, Exeter, New Hampshire. We're the only people in here at night, and we've seen the first week we were here. Juan-Juan saw someone walk by the door. I didn't see him.
And when he walked by the door, I think that one time the lights went on and off real quick.
And we couldn't account for this person. We don't know how he got in or out.
I thought I recognized the person, but then I ran it by the staff here, and they said, "No, there's nobody that works
but
here."
they did say that a guy named Bob used to work at this place.
Yeah.
And he passed away, and apparently he was a miserable bastard. So he's,
It's the
he
ghost
sounds
of
like
Bob.
he's right, the ghost of Bob. And a lot of strange other things have happened. I mean, it's funny because when we were here the next night, the next time we were doing the show, and Juan-Juan and I, they were just kind of redoing this place. And in our little studio, there was one fluorescent light on, and there was one off right above Juan-Juan.
Yep.
And there's wires all over the place and everything. So there was in the middle of kind of a renovation, and we started talking about Bob the ghost that we saw like the week before, and the light over your head came on, Juan-Juan, remember?
Right.
And then we went,
It was
wow,
off all day.
holy,
Yeah.
crap. And then it went off. It was just it was weird. It was strange.
It's like, I'm here, and then
I'm
it
here,
goes
and so
So
anyway,
shut up.
Bob the
Yeah.
ghost, Bob the miserable ghost. So
Yeah, I actually walked a radio station once. I was in town to do an event, and was doing an interview with the local radio station, and they said, "Well, we have had some paranormal activity here. Would you come and walk through the building and see what you pick up?" And long story short, there was a connection to one of the people that worked there and someone that was deceased not far from there. And I, the night prior, had a very vivid dream about how that person perished. But if you think about a radio station, it would make sense that someone who hasn't transitioned to heaven would want to try to get the attention of the people who report the news.
Mm-hmm, right.
And that's exactly what happened to this. It was actually a female. It's kind of uncommon for women to be ghosts, but she had been in a car with an abusive male. The car flipped over. I was experiencing all of this in my dream the night before. The car filled up with water. They both drowned, and she was so concerned about her children, and she wanted to get to people who to tell what happened.
Mm-hmm. Well, now you said something interesting there. That you mean there are not a lot of female ghosts?
Yeah, I found that pretty interesting.
Not that I have encountered, because women, I don't mean to make a blanket statement here, but women by and large tend to be more sensitive and more open and accepting of a lot of what we're talking about and a lot of what I do. Men tend to be more closed-minded, more emotionally closed off.
Oh.
Men tend to have
obviously, I haven't met Juan-Juan.
I totally buy it.
Supposed to tell for the exact opposite. Go ahead.
They tend to be a little more controlling, a little more aggressive. They tend to have, some anger management issues oftentimes. And
boy.
We'll find out.
I've encountered. I got to tell you, what I am encountering more and more at every single event I do is a very angry young man who is still here, is still stuck,
yes,
who passed as a result of an overdose.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow.
I can understand that.
That brings me around to my other question. You say that now you've never smoked, you've never drank, and you spend a lot of time in prayer and meditation. You live an absolutely clean life, right?
I try to the best of my ability.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's
Almost
too
as
late?
clean as Tom Brady.
Yes, don't, please. You think it's too late for people like me and Juan-Juan to go down that path? Is it ever too late?
It's never too late.
Never. I told you, I only started doing this when I was 40 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I was a very nice person prior to that time.
Oh,
and I'm not making excuses, but as a result of being a really sensitive kid and having some really unusual experiences, I was bullied almost every day for about 8 years of my life. And I was reflecting back what other people were projecting upon me, so I became cynical and judgmental, and I became an abuser also as a result of all of that. And I'm not making excuses for my behavior, but I closed off that aspect of my personhood that we are each blessed with, and that is our spiritual capacity to serve others and to be gifted.
Wow.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it is.
You may not be intended to do what I do, but that doesn't preclude you from tapping into your spiritual gifts and talents. And
exactly
I can tell you right now, Mac, one of them is to be a persuasive and effective communicator. So, in essence, you are doing what you are.
Have you? I hate to ask this question,
He's
but
doing the Lord's work too.
Have you ever had a couple drinks? Have you ever experienced, getting a buzz in alcohol, or do you know what it's like?
Sure.
Oh, you do?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Now, we've talked before. We've talked at length before. You'll remember I have never touched marijuana. I wouldn't know what it was if I fell over it. People talk about its distinctive smell. I would have no clue of what that was. I've never touched an illegal substance. Yes, I know what it feels like to be drunk.
Yep.
And I've taken a few hits of a cigarette, but that's about it.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right. So, Juan-Juan, maybe
Mac,
he was.
I told you there was another member of the non-marijuana club.
I was going to say, maybe he was down in Philly burning cars and, breaking into Macy's. You never know.
Bill is so fantastically right. Bill, I'm married to a woman who, when I first hung out with her, did the Ouija board, and her mother was...
Your first date, you went to a seance.
We went to a seance, and
Imagine that.
she does automatic writing and all this stuff.
The fortune teller looked at Juan-Juan and just went like this.
And she's a religious person, too.
It's radio, but it was beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
So you can be religious. A lot of religious people say, no, you can't be dabbling in the spirit world is always trouble.
Right.
And you think you're dabbling with somebody you know, and it's really Satan. He's the great deceiver, as they say in the Bible. So
now,
watch
have you
out.
just picked up the Satan thing since the Patriots lost? Is that where you're going with this?
No.
Okay.
No.
No, I agree with you. I think that no matter what you do, you have to be extremely careful. And you are quite correct that there are absolutely negative energies out there that are looking for our Achilles heel.
Right.
They're looking for people who are very vulnerable, people who are struggling with addiction, people who are struggling with mental illness. They are so cowardly that they will target children and prey upon children who are very innocent and don't realize that they are empowered to say no. So I think I think you're asking for it if you just arbitrarily start using a Ouija board or you start dabbling in tarot or automatic writing.
Exactly.
You always have to protect yourself in prayer no matter what you do.
Wow. Well, hey, listen, why not try it, We'll do it. Why don't we do it for a month?
You can't knock it till you try it, but you got to be very careful.
And we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
It's nothing to fool around with.
Just for clarification, what things are you recommending? Try it, not knock it. Which one of the many subjects?
No booze, no weed, no cigarettes, and an hour in prayer and meditation before we do the show. How about that? You do
Perfect.
that?
And that's the Ouija.
Well, listen, fellas. I mean, I just explained what works for me,
right?
And that's what I feel comfortable doing for myself. But that doesn't mean that everyone has to do that either. You just kind of have to, hit your stride and find your groove. But bottom line is, owe reverence and humility to the higher power, because that's the source of everything.
Hey, listen, famous author Marc Zappulla, Juan and myself. Do you think prayer and meditation going to do anything for us?
No.
Okay, thank you very much.
Great.
Hey, listen,
I'm a little saddened that Mark's...
Bill, I got some inspiration from you,
approach
Bill,
there.
because all night I've been looking for some inspiration to get me out of this funk of
There he goes.
my team losing the Super
Just don't
Bowl.
listen to Mark, apparently.
No, forget these guys.
Standing 2 feet. Anyway. Hey, Bill, please plug your book again.
Thank you, Mac. It's been a pleasure as always. The book is The Secret Language of Spirit. It's available on Amazon now for $5 and some change, believe it or not.
Nice.
It's very inexpensive.
$5.95.
My website, as always, is williamstillman.com.
Okay.
And it's been a pleasure chatting with you fellows.
Listen, let
And
me
a
ask
quick plug for Bill. When you write Bill at his website, he will answer you back.
Oh, good.
He takes the time. He's super about that.
Bill, you're a psychic. We've asked you this before. Is there any help you can give us, like in sports-related, futuristic stuff? Could you tell us, who's going to win, like, next month's NCAA basketball tournament?
Probably not. I'm not the kind of guy that makes global predictions about the state of politics or sports or celebrities or anything like that. It's kind of not my thing.
Would you give it?
I'm gonna.
Could you give it a try?
Sorry.
Would you give it a try just for us and see what happens?
Come on, Mac. It doesn't work that way. Everybody tells you
We had a guy
that.
call in from 44 light years away, and he got the Super Bowl perfect. Why wouldn't we?
Right.
Anyway, we'll talk about it off air, okay, Bill?
Yeah. Oh, maybe.
Thanks a lot. Hey, thanks for joining us. It's always a really good segment.
Thanks,
We'll talk to you
fellas.
soon,
Always a pleasure,
Bill,
Mac.
come on.
Take care, Bill.
Good segment, Bill.
Round of applause.
Take care. Thank you.
Bill. See you later.
Bye now.
All right.
See you
Good
later.
night.
Man, he's funny, man. Boy, that's a look into another world. He's an interesting guy. Interesting life. So listen,
You know what's really cool? That he brought up a character or an actress model,
right?
Who was
in the ends,
and it was born on my first birthday.
No way. Who? Lindsay Wagner?
June 22nd.
The $6 billion woman?
That's right. She was born June 22nd, 1949.
When we take care of our own hearts, we're also taking care of the people closest to us. So it's comforting to know that RWJ Barnabas Health has New Jersey's most comprehensive cardiac care program, with access to top specialists, minimally invasive heart surgery options, and rehabilitation and wellness programs. So get your heart checked. It's as easy as visiting rwjbh.org/heart. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Oh, well, that wasn't your year, was
It
it?
was 48. I was born in 48, June
Oh, okay.
22nd.
All
She was born on my first birthday.
Wow. Oh, I see. Okay. Probably don't want the
What a
girls out there
coincidence
to know
that
what
was.
you- Yeah,
Isn't
really.
that a coincidence, Cobe?
Absolutely.
Major coincidence.
Yeah, I got to tell you something really strange just at the end of the segment.
It's called synchronicity, by the way.
I'm talking to a friend of mine down in New York City, okay?
Yep.
We're doing email back and forth, right? And we're talking about how crazy Eagles fans are, how crazy Philadelphia fans are, okay? And I told him that way back when, when I was doing promo for the British bands, okay, early 2000s, I got to know this DJ in Philly, okay? I couldn't remember the guy's name, but we used to talk a lot on the phone about music, and, we're trying to get songs on his show. He's at the classic rock station down in Philly, all right? And we talked a little bit about sports, so on and so forth. So the Eagles were in some playoff game or something. This is way back when, and they should have won it. I barely remember. They should have won it, and they blew it or something. I don't know. This is like 2005 or something, And everyone down in Philly was shocked. This guy calls me at 11 o'clock at night, right? And he's crying on the phone. He's crying. How could they do it? I'm going, are you crying? He goes, yeah. And I'm like, oh, it's okay. The world will spin. Have a drink. Take it easy. Don't worry. They'll be back next year. Trying to calm him down. And it was weird. It was strange because I didn't really know the guy that much, Yep. So, and I couldn't remember his name. So anyway, I sent that last email to my friend down in New York, and then I go and see if there's any mail. It was an email from this freaking guy's place. His name is Joe Gigliotti, Gigliotti Archives, and like PIH or something down in Philly. It wasn't 10 seconds later.
Oh, so
That's
you said this email, yesterday or something?
No, this happened this afternoon.
Yeah.
I wrote back to my friend. And I said, this guy, this crazy, Eagles fan calls me to crime, blah, blah, blah. I can't even remember his name, see you later. Boom. Send it to him, and then in my inbox is something from this guy's archives. I've thought about that guy in 10 years easily.
Artificial intelligence.
Or something. It was strange. This is the kind of stuff he was talking about.
We all have like an angel around us.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. It's not always the same angel.
He's your angel.
Because my angel has seen stuff that I wouldn't want anyone to see.
It's your guardian.
They with you all the
guardian
time?
angel. You have different.
I feel
You might
sorry
have more
for
than
him.
one, and they take shifts.
Really? Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
They might not be.
Some
with
have
you.
been spared. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Sometimes they might be sick of you, and they say, "Hey, look, I can't do this. Can you come in and film me?"
Okay. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
I've probably gone through 100.
Wow.
At least.
Yikes. I hope my guardian angel likes X hamster. That's all I can say. Anyway.
Oh, I think they love little furry creatures.
Can you? Oh, come on, see. All of a sudden, he's doing material.
He is.
What would Commander Cobra's guardian angel? Would he be kind of like a wimp, and and just kind of let him do anything he wanted, or would he be like a superhero like Cobra?
Could be like superhero.
Really? Yeah. Wow.
I think he'd be very sensitive and be slapping me celestially on the side of the head for my naughtiness.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Just the way he said naughtiness is kind of weird there. Me and My Angel writes itself, sitcom on ABC, really right? Does. Must see TV. Mm-hmm. Anyway, hey, listen, why don't we take a break now, and then we'll be back with Emily and Switchblade. So you're listening to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everyone, to Mack Maloney's Military X-Files show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. Very interesting show for you tonight, but once again, let's introduce the posse. The very famous Juan-Juan is here, girls.
Yes, sir.
Okay, he's
fully clothed, but I'm here.
Clothed, but he's dressed in black,
that's right,
including the veil for what happened with the Pats. But we've already kind of beat that to death. So,
my family's sending me flowers. Just
that's a bad sign, actually.
Yeah.
I
think I'm dead, I guess.
On the phone, well, dead in spirit.
Spiritually, you are hurting.
Once again, stepping on his intro is Coco. They call him on the street, Commander Cobra, calling in from the undisclosed location up there in the Great White North.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Okay.
Good evening, Cobra.
Also in the studio with us tonight, I said previously, you have a good show and celebrities just drop in on you. So just like Frank Sinatra or Dean dropping in on Johnny Carson, very famous author Marc Zappulla has dropped in on us.
What's up, fellas?
Hey.
Okay, he's the author of The Last Longshoreman. Okay, that sounded like a victim of The Last Longshoreman right there. A pre-Whitey Bulger crime story happening down there on the Boston docks, the only part of Boston that hasn't been gentrified yet, the docks. So you don't want to go down there unless you have a reason to. And earlier, Mark gave us a reason because you're having yet another book signing in Southie, right?
Right in Southie, right on Broadway,
wow.
Right where The Last Longshoreman belongs.
Okay, all right. So we either arrange to get an armored car, okay, to pick us up and drive us there, or Cobra, if you could join us and come well armed, does that float your boat?
Yeah, the Commonwealth recognizes my rights.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, was that open carry, hidden carry, or what? Carrying more than one gun, that type of thing?
I'm not quite sure what you're trying to infer,
okay, neither am I.
Mr. Maloney.
Okay,
Mark,
so anyway.
as a former weekend townie, would I be safe down there
Absolutely.
at all?
Oh, yeah, you'd
go over great and Southie, yes.
There's going to be a lot of
you're metrosexual.
Yeah.
You play Southie.
Come on. All the millennials in the, will beat the hell out of you. Hit you with Brie.
It's Daddy Snowflake right there.
Yeah, really, Daddy Snowflake.
I'm going to suffocate on Brie.
Wow. That's right. That's how they kill you down there. They serve you bad Brie. Especially if you're from Charlestown. Anyway. Can you imagine mentioning I'm from Charlestown, you're sitting in a bar in Southie? I mean,
Short Street, baby. Brie? Short Street. I live in Short Street.
That's like suicide by cop. Anyway, to class up the show, not that Marc Zappulla hasn't done that enough already, but we're going to go to the next level. So on the phone with us is our good buddy, Ross Sharp. Airplane expert in everything. This guy knows a lot about everything. Okay. How you doing there tonight, my friend?
I'm fine, thanks, Mac. And all I can say is that The Longshoreman. Any book that's got a character called Butchie Shea in it gets my attention.
That's right.
Butchie Shea. All right.
That's right.
I only knew about 6
Not bad from Metro West.
Growing up.
Bring it in, baby. Bring it in.
Now, it might sound like Ross is calling us from across the puddle, as they call it. But he's actually calling us from Metro West, part of Boston, as Cobra just said.
Only Southie would call the pond the puddle. Yeah. That's beautiful.
I'm not from Listen, hey, dude, I'm not from Southie. I'm from Dorchester.
I'm from Dorchester.
Okay.
Big D-man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right. You better be sorry.
At least in Chelsea, we knew it was called the pond, not the puddle.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And you know what we called Chelsea?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't say it on the radio. The little yellow puddle. Anyway.
Mike's liable to call a stealth bomber the slightly indistinguishable bomber.
There you go. That's what people. So anyway, Metro West, where all the rich people live, Ross is calling us from. Yep. So thanks for joining us tonight. Everything
no problem.
Good with you? We haven't talked to you in the new year. Everything's good with you?
Oh yes, bouncy, possibly bouncy. It's the 100th birthday of the Royal Air Force this year. So
really, yeah,
big things are happening. Yes.
Wow, 100 years. Oh wow. Okay. All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
So
world's first independent Air Force.
Wow. Okay. What was it before that? What was it called before that?
It was two things. It was the Royal Naval Air Service and the Royal Flying Corps, who was the Navy and the Army. And on the 1st of April, 1918, going on a date, they amalgamated them and made them into the Royal Air Force.
Wow.
And that was it.
Okay. I got to ask you this question. Now, we're going to be talking about this very crazy UFO a village in England that's known for so many UFO sightings. We're going to be talking about that in a minute. But I have to ask this question. I don't think I've ever asked it before. Why is it the Royal Navy and the Royal Air Force, but not the Royal Army? Why is it just? It's always just called the British Army.
Well, it's quite simply because to distinguish it. It's like we're the only country in the world not to put our name, that is the name of the country, on the stamps.
Oh, wow.
We were the first. Yeah, right.
Okay.
So, there's the Dutch Royal Air Force, the Royal Swedish Air Force, but we don't have to put who we are. We just
you don't have to put the brand. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Interesting. All right. Well, that's a good answer. So, listen, let's talk about this village that we were talking about it off air. And in fact,
Warminster.
Right. When we did the show on...
it's called Warminster?
Silsbury Hill, yeah.
Warminster, yeah.
So what goes on there and why?
Is that a Peter Gabriel song?
It could very well be. The Wiltshire, for those of you who not familiar with the county, is very ancient. It's Stonehenge. Most people know where that is. Yeah. It's in the south of Wiltshire on the edge of Salisbury Plain. Few people know of Woodhenge, which is the henge created of wood, obviously rotted away, but the post holes are there. Avebury, another World Heritage Site. As a matter of fact, the whole of that area is a UNESCO designated site. But Warminster is on the edge of the Cranbourne Chase area of outstanding natural beauty. It's a very, very pretty place, very small. It's just to the south of Bath, and some really crazy things happen there. It's the only way of describing it. There was a massive outbreak of UFO sightings, and this led to motorcycles stopping, cars stopping, and strange sounds and vibrations affecting people, crops, machinery.
People actually saw these things?
It caused absolute havoc for a while.
People actually saw these.
1965 onwards.
Russ, the people actually saw these UFOs? It was daylight, or?
Oh yes. As a matter of fact, there's a Gordon Faulkner took a photograph of a UFO in 1965, and people used to go to Cradle Hill and Clay Hill, which are quite steep, small hills just to the south of town, and that's next to the military reservation on Salisbury Plain, and stand there each night with binoculars, cameras, etc., just waiting. But it was the oddity of things that were happening. These sonic effects, for example, it was said that a flock of pigeons flying by was literally all dropped dead at once. And shockwaves would hit people. Unbelievable. The vibrations overhead seemed to come from overhead. I would heartily recommend that everyone try and get hold of a copy of a book called The Warminster Mystery by Arthur Shuttlewood. It's a very well-written book, and it tells you... Well, people describe this little town as being in terror, and it was covered in major national newspapers, and there's a whole series of photographs published, everything from lenticular clouds to strange lights. It's an amazing thing. 1977 at Easter, there was another massive attack sort of thing. Red lights seen spaced evenly apart for over Cradle Hill, and then over a military site, Battlesbury Barracks, which they stood over for a while. And then away they went, separated, and flew off. Warminster is a sleepy little place, and this literally caused, in some people, absolute terror.
Besides,
what do they think it was? What was the official reaction of all this?
Right.
The official statement that came out.
There didn't seem to be too much in the way of official statement at all. It's left the residents still wanting answers 6 years later, really. They tried to be explained in terms of mass paranormal effects, but no. In Christmas Day, I think it was 1964, there was such a large bang, it rocked houses in the town centre.
This was sound waves, or this sonic? Was a sonic wave, or
it was a sonic? It was a sonic boom.
Okay.
Now you have to remember that also in the edge of Salisbury, well, slightly further on into Salisbury Plain, there's a fairly top security Royal Air Force station. Was RAF Boscombe Down. It's known as Boscombe Down, where much testing took place. So it is possible that a Mach-capable aircraft out of there might have caused a sonic boom.
Sure.
But it's been described by a national newspaper as, there was a quote headline, "Is this Britain's Area 51?"
Ooh.
Wow. It was described as a hotspot for UFO visits, unexplained lights and eerie happenings. Yeah, it's definitely a node, shall we say, of activity that people have been talking about for decades.
Any organized investigations to uncover, say, any kind of data for any kind of either sighting or physical phenomenon, just to kind of lay out the explanations?
There have been, obviously, major UFO groups have investigated wherever possible. Mm-hmm. It seems to fit in with an area of crop circle activity. There's a concentration of ley lines also. There's one that goes clear through Stonehenge down through the centre of Salisbury. But there are so many things that possibly the most disturbing incident took place with an off-duty police officer who stopped when he saw what appeared to be, he took initially to be 3 other police officers wearing white forensic suits, scene of crime suits, mm-hmm. Walking in and around a crop circle on the Marlborough Downs. And he was off duty at the time. He stopped and he thought he would go and find out what was happening.
He was off duty, but he wasn't inebriated in any way.
Absolutely not.
Okay, all right.
It was broad daylight, and he walked towards them, and then as he got closer to them, he saw that they were much taller than 6 feet, with long blonde hair, and what was described as the sound of static electricity in various newspaper reports. And then suddenly, they hadn't noticed him, or didn't appear to. When he got close, they did take notice and turned and ran. What made it so different is he ran faster than any human being he'd ever seen. And he couldn't catch up to them. They looked away for a second and they were gone.
Wow.
And that happened on 6th July 2009. Right? What the officer then did was drive straight back to Marlborough in Wiltshire. And he did make contact with various paranormal experts. But he also contacted, I believe, Andrew Russell, who's a crop circle investigator locally. And the police, actually, his superiors, took no notice of this at all, took no position.
What do you mean? They just ignored it and say the guy's a jerk, or what? I mean, just...
No. What they said was, and I quote directly from a Wiltshire County Constabulary policeman, or a spokesperson rather, the police officer was apparently off duty when this happened. Note that they didn't deny it happened. Right?
Right.
So we have no comment to make because it is a personal, not a police matter.
All right.
Right. How about that for non-denial denial?
That's pretty weird. So he's not on. He's not on the clock. Therefore, hey, it's your business, not ours. See you later. Have a nice day.
That's right. That's right.
That's incredible.
Basically, that's it. That's an official statement from the Wiltshire Constabulary.
So there was no follow-up investigation whatsoever because of that reason. They didn't suggest, hey, I got this, shrink.
No official one. I mean, there are various other paranormal investigators and crop circle investigators. There's a gentleman called Colin Andrews who investigated it and says he is, quote, convinced by the officer's descriptions, and various people say that the guy's obviously of good character and good standing, and they can't see why he would have come out with something like this.
Unless it really happened. Right?
Yeah. So it comes down to.
So he had good credibility.
Yeah.
Did it just go away? Did this whole thing just kind of melt away? I mean, how did this resolve out?
It kind of sounds like it's over.
Nothing really went further than that because there's no official position taken on it.
That's amazing.
Right? It is staggering. It still surfaces from time to time in literature. Right? It came up again in 2016, for example.
For what reason?
I think it was just a case that it came up in conversation. Somebody thought, well, I'll carry this to the media and see what happens. And lo and behold, something got published again. But, yeah.
I would think if the Daily Mail got hold of it, they'd be all over it, doing some kind of digging.
This Friday, from the visionary director of Ex Machina.
It's expanding.
Destroying everything.
It's not destroying, it's making something new.
Critics are calling Annihilation a thrilling, remarkable vision.
Mutations. They're everywhere.
Brilliant and provocative, it will be hailed as a masterpiece.
I checked my blood last night. It's in me.
Natalie Portman.
This is how extinction begins.
Annihilation, rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent.
Seem to do that kind of thing. Right?
Well, I know it was, yeah, absolutely. It made some of the London dailies, that I do know.
Mm-hmm.
But there was also some speculation that these beings could have been called tall whites.
Yeah.
But, it was bizarre. Impeccable witness sees something extremely strange and nobody takes notice of it.
Yeah. Ross, does Stonehenge itself have anything to do with the frequency of this? I mean, we're tying it together, but what is it about Stonehenge that could be a good launching pad for a lot of UFO activity? Anything?
Oh, yeah. I mean, let's put it this way. You've got something that is been a site of continuous monumental building between 3700 and 1600 BC.
Right.
A site that has been of religious significance for all that time, would have occupied the efforts of many thousands of people, i.e. a good proportion of the population in the southern half of the country. It's got two areas of chalkland. Stonehenge, you've got standing stones arranged in a stone circle, obviously, and other many monuments, including the Avenue, Durrington Walls, Woodhenge, and the densest concentration of burial mounds in Britain. And then where Silbury Hill is, that we've already discussed, there's Avebury itself, Windmill Hill, the West Kennet Long Barrow, which is a Neolithic long barrow made by the Beaker people, which is between Stonehenge and Avebury. So it's the landscape,
yep.
the Neolithic landscape, and even area, it's dense in that area. It's a huge concentration of artifacts, monuments, artificial hills and mounds, burial sites.
Burial mounds, as you describe it. These are people are buried on top of the earth and buried with a tons of dirt.
It's rather like it's. I'll willingly send you a photograph sometime. I've been inside the West Gate at Long Barrow, and it's very, very impressive, to put it mildly. It's I can't really describe the density of. An American visitor of mine described that you can't go very fast in this country. There's so much history; it's like wading through treacle. And it is, and so much has happened, all piled layer upon layer upon layer of happenings, everything from murder most foul to religious rites, and sometimes the two intertwine. But it's a fascinating place. You go there for a day, and 2 or 3 weeks later you look up and say, where did the time go? And it's because you're trying to visit all these places and experience what offers.
How large of an area are you talking about? Like in square miles or what?
I would say that I don't know. It's around about, I don't know, the area concerned. It's got to be around about 40 miles by about 60 probably. As a rectangle. Some of the monuments are quite amazing. The size of some of the stones in Stonehenge, they weigh over 40 tons, and some were transported more than 100 miles from the Preseli Mountains in South Wales.
How do you think that was done? Do you have any speculation off the top of your head how they could have accomplished that? Physically, or
well, there are several trials have been made on movement of rollers. You know, the old Egyptian method. You put on its side, you get yourself a lot of logs, and as the last log comes out from underneath, your highly trained log handlers rush it to the front and drop it in front of the stone, and and everyone else keeps
Ross, have you
it.
seen? I saw just recently a archaeologist that. He demonstrated what he believes is the way that they moved it based on things that he had found. He found spheres, carved stones, many of them with beautiful designs on them, that they would build a track, that these are used like bearings inside the track, and they were able to move huge, heavyweight blocks with very few people. And do that same method of moving the with these logs that were grooved and they would keep moving the logs and the stones to slide these into position. It was amazing.
Yeah. Obviously, you dig the pit at one end and slowly erect it, by leverage, by attaching hide ropes at the top and pulling, and building an earth bank, so it slides down. Yes, the way of doing these things is very possible and has been demonstrated, but it's just the sheer quantity of experiences that you can get in this particular area. There also been what was known the famous BOL phenomenon, balls of light.
Wow.
And these spheres, either of static electricity or some other charged plasma, have been seen.
Electricity from where?
Some velocity. Who knows?
Wow.
They've been seen in the same areas of the Marlborough Downs as the crop circles, but seen in day and photographed in day too. Not very large, but moving quite swiftly. So yes, there's so much happening. It's almost ridiculous. And if you go to, say, Avebury Manor, which is a lovely treasure house of a place.
A lot of supernatural activity there.
Yes, if you like ghosts, it's the most haunted place I can think of in the county. It's got a white lady. It's got a white lady, widow of a Civil War veteran. I don't mean the one that you had. the one that we had from the 1641. And also it's got a ghost who is preceded by a strong smell of roses.
Only in England.
So, only in England, yes. I suppose it is preceded here by a strong smell of chocolates or something. But
that would be my favorite. That would be the aroma I would like to travel in.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very
but
good.
no, it's an incredible place and highly recommended if you want to immerse yourself in something otherworldly.
Sounds very cool.
If Russ, if we went to England, let's say as a group, a party, if we brought the show to England. Well, first of all, where would we go? Where would be the best place to go? We should just get right in the middle of London and,
How many days have you got?
Well, how long? We'll go there for a couple months, Juan-Juan.
Yeah, at
that
least.
sound about right? People will pay for that.
Boy.
I mean, what's...
Couple of months.
Okay, or do you go, or should we go to a little village and really kind of get
Yeah,
down?
you could, I would recommend...
I want to go to Cornwall.
If you're doing a starter pack, I would go from flying out of New England, and certainly fly out of Logan. You can get several of the airlines there, the British ones especially, do a 3 or 4 day package to London. And going to London will give you a taste of what you need. You can actually pick up, if you stay at any of the major London hotels with tourist facilities, you can take day trips to Stonehenge.
Yes.
You can take day trips to Bath, which is just a little bit further. You can take day trips to Stratford-upon-Avon for the Shakespeare experience, so to speak. But if I had to choose one city in York in the country that had everything, and Commander also had a marvelous aviation museum, I would pick the city of York.
York, okay.
Or to give it its former name, the Norwegian city of Jorvik, or the Roman city of Iboracum. They're all the same place. York's got everything.
Here's an expert on everything.
Castles. You can walk the city walls. It was a place where a Roman emperor was created, Constantine. It's got a huge medieval minster cathedral, half-timbered buildings, ghost walks. It's got the lot.
Nice.
And and the National Railroad Museum as well.
We're going to York. Road trip to York.
York.
I'd have to take the boat.
Oh, yes. It's also got world-famous confectionery tea shop called Betty's.
Okay.
Actually, it's got 2 of them.
All right.
And
sounds marvelous.
Not
to be confused with that place in Revere.
Yeah, right. A similarly named place in Revere. And I thought he was
you
going to say...
You'd never get Mrs. Cobra out of that place, I tell you.
Oh, wow. Another show there, TMI.
Yeah.
But listen, I thought he was going to say...
referring to the one in England, not the one in Revere, but I could be lost.
Just go on the record there.
Yeah.
I thought he was
Just to
going
be
to say
clear.
famous English cuisine, and you never see those 2 words next to each other. Right.
Oh, yes, you do if you go to Betty's.
Oh, okay, all right. See, there's the answer to it.
Best shepherd's pie on the planet, right?
Well, no, it's the best English breakfast on the planet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a photograph of my
Yorkshire
last
pudding.
Frosted
English
flakes
breakfast
there,
at Betty's.
Juan-Juan.
Yeah.
Well, fascinating segment tonight. Once again, Ross, everything okay with the Mosquito Project?
Oh, the commander will brief you in on that offline because big things are happening.
Okay.
Unquote.
Good to hear. I just wanted to bring it up to get the audience back on board.
Good tease.
Oh well, if they Google the People's Mosquito, Mac, they'll get the latest press release. They'll get lots and lots of good stuff and video to watch too.
Excellent. Thank you, friend from Metro West, for joining us. Tell all the rich people we said hello. And we'll talk to you soon. Okay, Ross Sharp, everyone.
Boy,
Let's give him what we need to give him.
Ross is like a little bit of BBC right in our own
There
backyard.
you go, a little bit of BBC.
It's Masterpiece Theater.
It's
Mack Maloney, military excellence.
That's right. You almost want the trumpet fanfare thing.
Do we
like
mean a
Masterpiece
radio
Theater.
station or the thing you see on X Hamster? BBC.
Whoa!
Hang on.
Oh,
It was lame there.
that was lame-o.
Your own
Shame.
slash.
I had
Wow.
to.
That's almost like a struggle.
If you see something laying there, you got to pick it up, baby. Thank you, Ross, for joining us,
Oh,
and we'll see you
My
soon.
pleasure, Matt.
Okay, there we go.
Take care.
see you, Ross. Good night.
Take care.
Well, good night, Willem. Take care, man.
See you later. All right, there you go. We have classed up the show officially.
Yeah. You ended it beautifully, Mac.
Okay,
absolutely.
thank you.
And
Wow.
jumped right to the end.
Just had to bring it right back down to earth there, Coco. So why don't we take a commercial break now and stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. You're listening to Mack Maloney's Miltrack Style Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. Welcome back, everyone, to Mack Maloney's Miltrack Style Show here on the Distant Thunder Radio Network. This is Mack Maloney. What a show tonight. We have such a posse here tonight. It's going to take me a while just to
Virtual
introduce them.
potpourri of guests.
That voice you hear is a very famous Juan-Juan is here.
Hello, Mac. Still here and
Still here.
lamenting the loss of the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Also on the line is Commander Cobra from the compound up north.
Good evening, gentlemen.
In our studio, very famous author Marc Zappulla.
Who was also lamenting the loss.
Also lamenting the loss.
It's good to be
author of The Last Longshoreman, a pre-Whitey Bulger crime story of the Boston docks. How about that? That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
For the ad copy.
Excellent.
On the phone with us, Switchblade Steve Ward up there in the Boulder Flakes, Battle Creek, Michigan. How you doing there, Switchy?
Doing excellent.
Okay.
Is that where Matt Patricia's going, right?
Wow, his
Detroit?
voice, yeah. We're not talking about football anymore. Haven't we talked?
Yeah,
Anyway.
we did. We talked about it enough.
He's in Michigan. Is that no? He's going. Yeah, Detroit, Michigan. Okay, people are calling me here. Also, Emily Mittermeier joining us from Cincinnati, the Queen City.
Indeed, and not lamenting the loss of the Patriots.
She did predict that. Well, she was. She didn't.
The
She didn't
sweet,
pick the
sweet sting
Yeah,
right
you know,
there.
it
hurts.
Wow. Let's say she's not a Pats fan. So
she stabbed me with twin stilettos. The stiletto in my back and she's wearing stiletto heels, probably.
Okay, there, Cyber.
all right. If you
Cyber
saw
Fight.
the stock,
Just back it up there just a couple seconds.
Okay,
We had this talk before.
Yeah, right. In a voice.
Yeah,
Little,
no doubt.
Your inner voice. Anyway.
All right, let's move on.
Emily, so hey, listen, Em, we were talking off here about like another one of these classic UFO stories. So which one did you talk about this week?
So I have what I think is a super scary UFO story.
Okay.
And this is the story of a disappearing disappearing jet fighter that happened with an encounter that had with a UFO. And this was November 23rd, 1953. And it was up near the Sioux Locks in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, which I thought was interesting since Steve and I were there fairly recently in that area. But anyhow, that evening, there were air traffic controllers at the Teraak Air Force Base over in Wisconsin nearby that picked up an identified flying object on their radar. And again, it was near the Sioux Locks, right there at the Michigan and then Canadian border. And at that time, during the Cold War, borders especially were very heavily monitored, and it was considered a restricted airspace. So, of course, they were watching, and they noticed this blip on their radar that they didn't know what it was. So there was an F-89C Scorpion,
big
fighter jet, from Kinross Air Force Base in Michigan, somewhat nearby. That they had called over to find out what this craft was that they couldn't identify. And so as the fighter was approaching the UFO abruptly changed directions, went off another way. And what was odd was that the UFO this entire time was showing on the radar at the Air Force Base on the ground, but it never showed on the F-89's radar, the craft that was following it. So they were just being guided by the guys on the ground as to where this object was, trying to track it down.
Right.
And so it took about 30 minutes before the jet was able to get caught up to this UFO. And when it did catch up with it, the guys on the ground watching the radar could see, the two spots on the radar representing each craft.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, it was like the two spots merged into one.
Right.
And so they thought maybe one was just passing over the other, and then, so the other, blip on the radar would come out, and it never did.
Wow.
And so then all of a sudden, the one spot on the radar all of a sudden accelerated and flew off, and it was gone and no longer on the radar. And then the F-89 had just disappeared.
So let me just
interrupt. Gone. They didn't find it.
Let me interrupt you for a second. So it's at night, and even though Canada is a friend of ours, they did still patrol the border, let's say, and you had this air base up in the Great Lakes. They see this object over the Great Lakes. They scrambled the guy, but they have ground control has to lead him to the object, right? He finally finds it, and then I'm hearing myself for some reason. Wow, man, why does this happen there? I think this place is haunted. Okay, all right, that turns on.
Oops, I kind of lost you there.
There we go.
You cut out.
Yeah, he's there.
Sounds
like
a freight train went by.
Yeah, really.
That would be the Scorpion, the F-89 Scorpion.
We found it.
And then, so when once, so they're watching this drama on their radar screen, the two blips merge, and the F-89 never comes out the other side. They never find the airplane.
Wow.
Never find the airplane. What happened? Does anyone? I mean, and that's exactly what happened. They looked the next day. They did all kinds of sea searches and stuff. Looking in one of the Great Lakes is like looking in the ocean, really. Okay.
Right.
Did anyone ever come up with any kind of an explanation other than like the UFO, like kind of took it in its main chamber or something and then took off with it?
Well, there were lots of explanations that came out that were, of course, ever changing, like we see a lot with these UFO reports. There was I think the original story was that the pilot of the F-89 had vertigo and crashed the plane.
Okay. Yep.
Into Lake Superior, and then it changed and said no, the UFO was actually a Canadian cargo plane. That's what we saw there, and then the jet crashed for other reasons.
Right.
And then they said no, it was a Canadian Air Force jet. No, actually the F-89 just exploded at a high altitude, and that's why they never found any remains of it. And then it just story after story, explanation after explanation, none of which made sense. And then apparently a bit later, after this event had occurred, UFO investigators wanted to pursue it further, only to discover that the Air Force had deleted all of the information related to that jet's mission that night.
It must really just be coincidence.
Of course.
I can't believe that you would indicate that.
Right.
Now, let me ask you this question, okay? Would they have, let's say something like that happened today, okay? I mean, the F-89 Cobra, right? That was like one of the biggest fighters ever, right?
It was the radar capability of that airplane was mainly for gun or for ranging, so they knew when they could fire their missile, and they had a small nuclear.
When we take care of our own hearts, we're also taking care of the people closest to us. So it's comforting to know that RWJ Barnabas Health has New Jersey's most comprehensive cardiac care program, with access to top specialists, minimally invasive heart surgery options, and rehabilitation and wellness programs. So get your heart checked. It's as easy as visiting rwjbh.org/heart. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Their tip missile that they were using, and it was designed to intercept Russian bombers.
Oh, okay.
But it was the first pilot and radar interceptor officer kind of aircraft that they had put up.
Right, okay. Now, supposing if something like this happened today, okay, let's say some, fighter was scrambled over the, some F-18, F-16 or something like that, merged with a UFO on the radar and never came out, and they never found the airplane. I mean, would you be able to get away with it these days?
I think you wait 5 years. You say that the Pentagon's running a program, and then you have somebody else come on and do the circuit, and then you don't talk about it for 2 months.
All right, but how about this? But what do you tell the families of the pilot?
They crashed.
They crashed, and we can't find their wreckage. In
they crashed. Move on. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, they went down in the the Great Lakes. It disappeared. We're very sorry.
Wow.
We have no traces of
their bodies. But when the word get out these days that, hey, listen, these people saw, he was up there, intercepting UFO.
The word did get out when they had all this stuff that happened off the west coast of the United States until they decided to release it. So I'm not sure it would get out.
Wow. Okay.
The big difference here is we were very dependent on ground intercept radar for these types of operations. It's a lot less now, and the fighter interceptor aircraft have a much bigger, much more robust ability to use radar that's on board plus link to other sites. So there would be a lot more people actually able to see it. It's a lot more networked. But I don't believe that if you don't want something to be seen, you and I disagree on this, Mac. You don't think that people can keep secrets. No. They do. They keep them all the time.
But, there's still the overwhelming mental resistance to this, where people will just compartmentalize it and ignore it.
Laugh it off, yeah. Well, if someone actually died and stuff like that, or is missing, it adds a little bit more of a solemn, tone to it. And I think that the families of the pilots would make more noise these days.
I would think so.
More people would know about it, back there in the 50s, it wasn't the widespread media that we have now. Anyway, wow. Now we're going
but like Cobra said, they say, well, no, it was a crash. We can't find the debris, we can't find the bodies or whatever.
Right.
And that's it.
And if the story's going to be packaged, it's never going to talk about a UFO. It's never going to be mentioned. They're going to say they went to intercept an aircraft that showed up on radar.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it's going to just disappear. It's the astronaut's hand over the camera on the International Space Station just as something comes into view. It was just an accident. It just happened that his hand was covering the lens. It just happened.
Cobra's no fun tonight. He should treat us better.
He's Mr. Serious.
Yeah.
Emily, is that like the Bermuda Triangle?
I'm flying like an eagle. That's my problem tonight.
Yeah, it's called the Ontario Triangle. We talked about it.
Is that like the Canadian version of the Bermuda Triangle kind of thing?
That's exactly what I thought of. When I was researching that story, I was like, plane just disappears.
Yeah, right.
No,
and the fact that the UFO, as soon as the blips merged, then the UFO took off. He didn't wait around for an hour. It was just, it happened and boom, he's gone. Right. So they never find the plane, man. That's wild.
That happens. You've seen it on TV all the time.
Hey, Switcherino, while we have you on the line there, I've been telling the other people this for weeks, and I have to say the same thing over and over. Switch, the man on the way up. He has now got 2 more gigs, just like in this past week. Where he's
that's true.
He was going to cost us way more money to get him on the show.
Yeah. Okay. Well, like I said before,
well,
this
can't
goes
be on
beyond.
That night. I'm going on Fox.
This goes beyond. We knew him when. Believe me.
Well, I'm fighting. I don't want to become, prima donna and, I expect more editorial control and get too big of a head. So Emily's going to keep me in check, I think, make sure that she's going to watch my emails and try and read between the lines and see if any of that's going on.
Wow. Okay.
But what happened was this great couple, Deb and Richard DeRuse, they're having a Michigan UFO con at a Houghton Lake resort. Houghton Lake is about 2/3 the way up in the center of Michigan, the Lower Peninsula. Beautiful area. And that is September 22nd, actually 1 week after the Mothman Festival.
Okay.
Apparently, she saw my post in regard to MUFON. She talked to Bill Kongoleski, the guy that had me speak there, and decided that I'm going to be there with Nick Redfern and people like John Tinney.
Wow.
So it's really, really amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then I heard I had posted that on the Mothman website, not expecting to speak at Mothman again this year.
Yes.
And Jeff Wamsley piped up and said, yes, and he's going to be speaking at Mothman too.
Wow. Listen, we got to applaud him now. Come on. We have to.
He's a star.
Wow. The man on the way
So September's going to be a pretty big month.
Yeah, right. And this is only February. Who knows what's going to happen?
Right. Now, the end of April, I'll still be at the Butler Paranormal weekend, which is a great little event.
Don't forget your friends.
Yeah, really. In other words,
friends? What were their names again?
What he's trying to say is, don't forget your friends.
Oh, wait a minute. That's that prima donna thing going again. I got to watch it.
It'll be funny. It'll be funny to watch his arc, as they say in the biz. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then at some point, they're going to catch him like they caught Malcolm Butler doing what he was.
Well, what's cool. Every time I have one of these little blurbs up there, it says and can be heard weekly on.
Oh, all right. So, what, Commander Cobra's show?
Yeah.
No, only good.
Well,
ouch! That's going to leave a mark.
Anyway,
Mack Maloney's Military X-Files. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you very much. Okay, Emily, he's a pretty nice guy. You've met him. We've never met Switchblade. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
That is weird.
Tell us about him.
Tons of times.
If you had to describe him,
when he tours New England, he'll drop in.
Right. Yes. I was going to ask Bill Stillman if he wanted to go out and get drunk with us the first time ever, but he had already tasted alcohol, so maybe Switch would go out with us. If you had to describe Switch in 3 words, let's make it 4 words.
Oh, man.
But not 4-letter words, right?
She said, "Oh man,
turn
that's
it into
2."
a haiku. Come on, turn it into
more.
a haiku. This could be good.
Okay.
Oh, I need more time to prepare. I would
heck, give her a
say
couple of paragraphs. Come on.
Intrepid walking encyclopedia of paranormal.
Wow.
That's 5.
Wow.
Wow.
All right. Okay, switch. That was exciting, right?
That was.
Anyway, look at you guys. Thanks for the report tonight, Emily, and also thank you, Switcherino, for telling us once again what it's like to be a celebrity. We should do this segment every week. What it's like to be a celebrity.
I feel like we're Dancing with the Stars already.
Yes, right. Yeah, be good on Dancing with the Stars, actually.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping I don't get any more gigs for a while, so that I can kind of calm down a bit. And
he's already
get
too busy. He's turning stuff down at this point. Okay,
that's
all
right. Practice your humbleness.
There you go. Yeah, it's very important.
I'm doing my damnedest.
Thanks for joining us tonight, Emily. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Emily. Though you're an Eagles fan, it's okay.
Right. Okay.
Hey, I'm not an Eagles fan. I'm just not a Patriot.
She's just not a Patriot. That's okay. We forgive you. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.
Good night, guys.
Okay.
Good night.
Take care.
I want to thank Bill Stillman, who was on earlier tonight, the psychic, who was, told us the advantages of going on the straight and narrow. You and me, Juan-Juan, and I guess we've decided not to do it. Is that right?
Just to be careful.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Also,
have your guardian angel with you.
Yeah. Okay. Like I said, I think hopefully he'll drive home. Ross Sharp, the Sharper Image, was on tonight talking about the UFO.
Sharper Image.
Yeah,
I think I'll use the Sharper Edge, but the Sharper Edge is copyrighted, but we can get around that.
I need a printer. I was thinking this. Anyway, thanks for joining us tonight and talking about the village in Warminster in England that's like haunted by UFOs, strange, in the same neighborhood as Stonehenge, right? Okay.
Yep. Since UFOs built Stonehenge, I guess they figured they didn't want any encroachment.
Right. Yes, right. Well, they need a place to go to stay, so they're in the.
They lifted those stones up.
The intergalactic bed and breakfast.
That's right. The B&D. Right. Also, thank you to very famous author Marc Zappulla for stopping by.
Hey, it's always a pleasure, guys.
Celebrity in the studio with us tonight. His book
Isn't
is
this
The
fun,
Last.
Mark? This is the place to be, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Place to be.
When you're an author.
So many stars, you need sunglasses.
There you go. Right. At night. They can call it.
Future so bright.
I have mine on.
Shades.
These guys are stepping all over the name of the book. You know that, right? He's the author of The Last Longshoreman, a pre-Whitey Bulger crime story on the Boston docks, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. The Last Longshoreman on Amazon. Thank you to our friend Teraak calling in, 44 light years away. He did that 2 weeks ago, and we went back and we replayed what he said about the football game. The big Super Bowl game. And also thank you to the black-eyed kid who called in there, Juan-Juan, and, kind of jerked.
Always a favorite.
Yep.
Always nice to check in with the youth from the underworld.
Right.
Telling me he was like a peeping Tom at my house.
No, he said he was going to be in the back of your car when you.
Oh, that's
when we
right,
go
too,
out.
yeah.
Right. Okay, so can we leave before you? Would that be okay with you? Anyway, so thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Juan-Juan, of course, thank you.
You're welcome.
And we want to give a shout-out to one of our super fans, Barry Keefe, on the mend. We talked off here a little while ago. He's home. He's mending. He had a little bit of a health issue. Everything is fine. And he said, you never hear this, he says, the painkillers are great. Usually people say, they're a drag, but I have to take them. Barry Keefe, thanks for listening in. We'll talk to you soon. And thank you, everyone out there, for listening tonight. We'll be back next week, hopefully, with another show. Until then, this is Mack Maloney for the whole gang saying, until next time, be safe, be happy, and
bye-bye.
What a matchup! And what a team, Mike. Metro PCS and the iPhone SE for $0 on a network that covers 99% of people in the U.S. Oh, impressive.
Play with the best. Switch to Metro PCS on an unlimited LTE plan and get a 32-gig iPhone SE for $0. Metro PCS. Coverage not available in some areas, plus sales tax. Claim based on talk and text. Not valid for active numbers currently on the T-Mobile network or active on Metro PCS in the past 90 days. See store for details.